Hi everyone. So in the last 4 sessions of cost of capital, we have seen in the first session what is cost of capital and different factors over it, and the second session computation of cost, that is cost of debt, and third session computation of cost of debt, that is preference share capital, and the fourth one cost of equity share capital. Now we are going to the next session, that is the fifth session regarding cost of retained earnings. So what is meant by this retained earnings? A company may not distribute its entire profit to the shareholders. That part of the earnings of the company which is not distributed to the shareholders is called retained earnings. Such retained earnings are transferred to revenue or transferred to reserve or normally utilized for the company for future development requirements. The process of setting apart a part of the profit or earnings for future capital expenditure or capital requirement is called plowing back of profits. This would have studied early itself. There may be argument that there won't be any cost incurred for retained earnings. But here comes the opportunity cost. That is, the cost of retained earnings is the opportunity cost of dividend foregone by the shareholders, foregone by the equity shareholders, if it would have been invested in some other enterprises. So, in the first session I have explained that there is explicit cost and implicit cost, and the implicit cost refers to this opportunity cost. And there we said, for the computation of cost of capital, implicit cost is very important. Here it's come. Here, to find out the cost of retained earnings, we are thinking about the implicit cost of capital. So, we can find out the cost of retained earnings. The equation for finding out, or the equation for computation of retained earnings is KR equal to EPS into 1 minus T into 1 minus B divided by MP. Here EPS refers to earning per share. That is how much income we are earning on per share investment. NP equal to market price per share, T equal to tax rate, B equal to brokerage. This equation we can summarize because for the computation of equity capital, KE equal to EPS divided by MP is there. So that part we can set apart. So instead of writing EPS divided by MP, we can take it as KE. So KE into 1 minus T into 1 minus B. So KR equal to, that is cost of retained earnings equal to KE into 1 minus T into 1 minus B. Easily we can make out. So now you look into the PowerPoint. The first question is, the cost of equity shares of a company has been worked down as 20%. The personal income tax rate is 30%. Assuming a dividend of assuming the amount has been debited and the cost of investment including brokerage is 2%. Determine cost of retained earnings of the company. Determine the retained earnings of the company. So the tax rate is 30%, assuming 30% tax rate. So we can first write the formula. Cost of retained earnings equal to KR equal to KE into 1 minus T into 1 minus B. KE equal to, KE means what? KE, how we can find out? EPS divided by NP. Here it is clearly given. The KE is the cost of equity shares of a company has been worked down as 20%. That is, cost of equity is given as 20%. So 20 by 100, we can make it as 0.20. Understood? KE means cost of equity. In the fourth session we have done. So it is clearly given here 20%, that is 0.20. T, tax rate is 30%, that is 0.3. Then B, brokerage. Brokerage they have given as 2%, that is 0.02. So we can make the equation KR equal to KE is 0.20 into 1 minus 0.3, that is tax, into 1 minus 0.02. It is coming 0.1372. It's very easy to find out. Okay, so the next problem is next problem also I will explain. A company made a new issue of 10,000 rupees, 100 equity shares with expectation of payment of dividend at 30% per share after 1 year. The flotation costs are estimated at 2% of face value. The company earned a profit of 20 lakh rupees and decided to retain half of its profits for future capital requirements. Its personal tax rate is 30% and brokerage for the investment is 1%. It's very clear. KE equal to, here we have to find out the KE because it is not clearly given. The last problem, KE is given directly. Here it is not given. Here we'll have to find out. So what is the formula? D divided by NP. D is 30. Dividend is 30%. So D is 0.30. And NP is 100 is the face value. 2% is the brokerage cost. So 100 minus 2, 98. So 30 divided by 30%. So divided by 98, it is coming 0.306. It's coming 0.306. So KE we found out. Now it is easy. KR equal to KE. It is 0.306 into 1 minus T. Tax rate is 0.30 and the brokerage is 1 minus 0.01. So the answer is 0.212. That is also very easy. Then the third question also I will explain for you. That is PQ Limited transfers 50 lakh rupees out of its profits to reserve for starting a new project. The shareholders can invest their surpluses at 20%, assuming that the expenses and brokerage for the new issue investment is 3% and dividends are not taxable. So here it's also easy. So KR equal to KE into 1 minus T into 1 minus T. Here tax element is not at all there. Then KE it is clearly given. The shareholders can invest their surplus as 20%. So 20%, 0.20 into 1 minus the tax rate is 30%. Tax rate is 30%. So not tax rate. Assuming that the expenses and brokerage, tax is not there. Brokerage is 3%. That is 0.03. So 0.194. The answer is 0.194. The fourth problem you can work out yourself. It's also very easy. So we have completed our fifth session also, that is finding out the cost of retained earnings. And the next session we are going to the last session of cost of capital, that is combined cost of capital. How to compute the combined cost of capital of a firm. Thank you very much. Hi everyone. So in the last 5 modules we have seen the meaning of cost of capital, the computation of cost of capital of debt, preference shares, equity shares and retained earnings. Now after ascertaining the specific cost of each source of capital, such as debt, preference shares, equity shares and retained earnings, it is essential to compute the overall cost of capital of the firm. The overall cost of capital of the firm may be defined as the rate of return that must be earned by the firm in order to satisfy the requirements of the different categories of investors. Once again, I will tell you the rate of return that must be earned by the firm to satisfy the required requirements of the different categories of the investors. That is what is meant by overall cost of capital. So, a company using equity, preference and debt capital together has to work out the overall cost of capital to set its minimum expected rate of return. If the capital raised from different sources is in equal proportion, the overall cost of capital of the firm will be equal to the same level. but the capital which may be used will be different from one source to another source. So the proportion we have to take into account, and the weightage has to be given according to the source of capital we have made. So therefore, in such cases, the weighted average of specific cost of all the components are being taken into account by giving or by assigning weightage to each component of capital. So the weighted average cost of capital, we can say the combined cost of capital or overall cost of capital. Okay, the weighted average cost of capital can be computed as follows. That is weighted average cost of capital, WACC, equal to KE into W1 plus KD into W2 plus KP into W3 plus KR into W4. That is, KE means cost of equity and weightage 1. If it is there, and KP is the cost of preference shares equal to 3, then KD weightage is given as 2 and retained earnings KR is W4. Okay, KE means cost of equity, KD means cost of debt, KP means cost of preference shares, KR means cost of retained earnings. So all these four together, it is coming as weighted average cost of capital. So now in this particular session, we are finding out how to compute the weighted average cost of capital. So here another equation can also be taken into account, that is KW, that is weighted average cost of capital. KW equal to sigma WX divided by sigma W, where X equal to cost of capital in specific, W equal to weights or proportion of specific cost of capital. X is the cost of capital in each case, W is the weight or proportion assigned to specific sources of capital employed. So this is what is meant by weighted average cost of capital. Once again, I will give you the definition. It is the rate of return that must be earned by the firm in order to satisfy the requirements of the different categories of investors. So now we will go to the computation of weighted average cost of capital. All these things are given in the PowerPoints. You can follow this. So first question. X Limited gives the following information regarding its capital composition. 4 composition are given. First one is equity shares, second one is preference shares, third one is debentures, and fourth one is retained profits or reserves. And its amount is given. The total it is coming 1 crore. And the cost of capital after tax it is given 12%, 10%, 7% and 11% it is given. So we are asked to find out the weighted average cost of capital. So first of all, we will have to find out the proportion of each component of capital. For example, equity shares are coming 60 lakh. The total is 1 crore. So what is the proportion? 60 lakh divided by 1 crore into 100. And 20 lakh divided by 1 crore into 100, that is preference shares. Then 10 lakh divided by 1 crore into 100, that is debentures. And 10 lakh divided by 1 crore into 100, that is retained earnings. So we have found out the proportion. This proportion is taken as the weight. This proportion is taken as the weight given to or weight assigned to different components of capital. So it is being taken as weights. You can see the second statement. In that statement, you can see the weight assigned to them. Okay, weights are 0.6, 0.2, 0.1, 0.1. The answer is given and that you can find out. And the cost of capital is given 12%, 10%, 7%, 11%. And the weighted average is 0.6 into 12, 0.2 into 10, 0.1 into 7 and 0.1 into 11. Then we have to add the total weighted average, that is coming as 11. So 11% is our weighted average cost of capital. It's very easy. First of all, you find out the proportion. That proportion is coming as weight. Multiply this proportion by the cost of capital given. You will get the weighted average cost. Take the total of it. That total will be the percentage of weighted average cost. Hope you have understood. Now we can go to the second problem. That is something different. So I have given separate discussion for separate problems, and the rest problems you can do by looking into the PowerPoints itself. That is, computation of weighted average cost of capital is the second one. Delimited as the following capital structure with different sources of funds used. Sources of fund is given. Here also amount is given. It is coming 60 lakh in total. Proportion is given. 25%, 20%, 30%, like that. Proportion is given, and after tax cost, that is cost of capital, is given 5, 10, 12, 11. It is given there. So here in this problem, there is no need of finding out. This is another method. There is no need of finding out the proportion. So you take the amounts. That is, debt is 15 lakh. Preference shares 12 lakh, refer your PowerPoint, and equity shares is 18 lakh, retained earnings 15 lakh. Now, after tax cost, that is cost of capital, is given 5%, that is 0.05, then 10%, 12%, and 11%. It is given. Now, what to do? You have to multiply the amount with the after tax cost. Amount with the after tax cost, that is 15 lakh into 5%, 12 lakh into 10%, 18 lakh into 12%, and 15 lakh into 11%. So it is coming 75,000, 1 lakh 20,000, 2 lakh 16,000, 1 lakh 65,000, and total 5 lakh 76,000. This is the total after tax cost. This total after tax cost, that is sigma wx, we got, divided by sigma w. Sigma w is the total amount, that is 60 lakh. So 5 lakh 76,000 divided by 60 lakh into 100. So the answer is 9.6%. 9.6%. Understood? So this is very easy and very important also. And one more problem, you want, we can explain it. One more problem we can do. Okay, that's enough. The other problems are given in PowerPoints. So you can refer to this. There is no change at all. Only thing is that some cases the cost will be given before tax. So you have to deduct the tax from the particular percentage. Debt is having no tax. Preference shares are also having no tax. Debt is having tax. Preference shares having tax. Equity shares having tax. The tax you have to, after tax, if it is not given after tax, you have to deduct the tax percentage. That's all. So we have completed the entire divisions or sessions relating to cost of capital. That is meaning of cost of capital, then computation of cost of capital, in that debt capital, equity capital, preference share capital, retained earnings, and finally we have seen the weighted average cost of capital. I think you have understood in a simple way. So thank you very much.